Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey, and today these are the 6 pairs of earrings that I will be making in the video. Just about all of the materials for these earrings came from the April 2022 bargain bead box. I did use some of my own, findings, bead caps, those kind of things. But the majority of the items used did come from the bead box. So if you would like to see how these earrings came together, then stay tuned. All right, so let's just get right into that first pair. And for each pair, I'm going to have a completed earring, and I will be making the other earring in the pair. So here is the first pair that we will be making. So we're going to start by making each component and then of course attaching it to the ear wire. Now the tools that I will be using, I will be using 2 sets of chain nose pliers, and I will be using a set of round nose pliers. I will also be using a set of cutters. Now, I will link my tool set down below. I really enjoy this tool set. I like that the handles on it are a little bit larger. It's kind of easier to grip. But just as an option, they're a little bit more expensive, but I have found that investing in decent tools is it definitely pays off for me if you make, jewelry very often. So I'll link these down below. All right, so my first pair, I'm going to make this bottom component here. All right, so I have the ball pin, and I'm going to be using these bead caps that came out of my own stash. So I have bead cap facing up, bead, and this is the rondelle bead. Bead cap facing down, and then I will use this bicone that came in the bead box. So this is that bottom component, and here is how I make loops. So I will be putting my round nose pliers just above the top of the component, and then I bend it. And I don't have a degree of angle, I just sort of bend it a little bit. And then I bend it back with my fingers, just like that. And then when I take that out, it's got the beginning of a pretty decent loop. And then I will hold on to that tail piece and go in with my cutters and cut. So then I can go back in with my round nose pliers and close the loop. Just like this. And this will be my bottom component. So now I'm going to make the top component, and it is going to have a eye pin, just like this. I am also going to have a bead cap facing up, and the elongated faceted green round, and bead cap facing down, just like that. Make the loop the same way, just above. And bend it back with my fingers, just like that, and push the beads down, go in there with my cutters, hold the tail. If you do not hold the tail before you cut it, it will go flying. All right, and before I make that top kind of snug, I'm gonna go ahead and put that component on it, because I don't want to add a jump ring in between. Just like that. And now I want to grab it with my round nose pliers and close that loop just like that. So now I have connected the two components. And to connect it to the ear wire, just open that bottom a little bit, connect it to the component, and close it. And there you have it. So here is my first pair, and we are moving on to the next one. All right, so here is my next pair. Again, I'm gonna make the components and then attach them together. So this one, I'm going to be using a ball pin. Bead cap facing up. The large 10mm round. Bead cap facing down. I just love these natural stone beads. And then we're going to have this spacer at the top. And everything that is coming out of my my own personal stash, I will link down below. The rest of it, most of these components, as I said in the intro, come from the bead box. So everything that doesn't, I will link down below. So I'm gonna add this spacer here from my own stash. So I'm gonna grab it just above that the top of that spacer, bend it back with my fingers, and then I'm gonna go in there with these cutters, hold on to the tail so it doesn't fly away. Then I'm gonna close that loop. Just like that. So we have that bottom component, and now we're gonna make the top component. So we're gonna put on the green round, spacer in between, and bicone. That's right there. Now, grab it just above, just like that. Bend it. Bend it back with my fingers. And snip that tail. All right, and now I'm gonna go back in there with my round nose pliers and close that loop. Just like that. So now in this pair, I am connecting it with that jump ring. So I'm gonna grab it with my chain nose pliers, open the jump ring, connect it to the bottom component, and then connect it to the green side of the top component, and close that jump ring. Want to make sure it's closed nice and snug. And then we're going to connect it to that ear wire. And then go back in there with my round nose pliers. Just like that. All right, so here is pair number 2. On to the next one. All right, so for this one, there is just one component. So we have the ball end pin, and we are going to put on it the bicone at the bottom, and this kind of has a wave where it gets larger and then smaller. So we have the bicone at the bottom, then the rondelle, and for the center bead, we're going to have a bead cap facing up, natural stone, 10 millimeter, bead cap facing down, rondelle, bicone. So there is the component. And we're going to use the round nose pliers, take it just above that top bead, bend it back with my fingers, and then when you take that off, you have a nice little loop. You don't want to go in there with your chain nose pliers. That probably won't do much, but you should go in there with your cutters. Just like that. And then I'm going to go in there with my round nose pliers and close that loop. Then I'm going to get the ear wire, open it a little, connect the component, and close that loop in the ear wire. All right, and there is pair number 3. On to the next. All right, so here is our 4th pair. Again, we have one component. I have a ball pin, and I'm going to start this at the bottom. I'm going to start this with a small spacer. Then I'm going to use the large bicones, one of them, and then I'm going to put on a bead cap facing up, rondelle, bead cap facing down, and then one of the bicones. I'm going to end it with another small spacer. So there is that component. So again, I'm going to hold it at the top with just above that top bead with my pliers, my round nose pliers, bend it back with my fingers. I'm going to go in there with my cutters. Snip that. Go back in there with my round nose pliers. And close that loop. Just like that. Grab the ear wire, open it up, attach the component, and close the loop in the ear wire. All right, there is pair number 4. On to the next one. Here is pair number 5. And I am going to be using larger jump rings so I can attach the connector piece, this hammered detailed connector that came in the box. So that will be connecting that in the center. And then of course I have the larger and the smaller natural stone bead. So the larger bead goes at the bottom, and that'll be using the ball pin. So we have bead cap facing up, larger stone bead, bead cap facing down, and then I'm going to grab it just above that bead cap and bend it. All right, and then I'm going to get up in there with my cutters. And then with my round nose pliers, I'm going to close that loop. Just like that. And now I'm going to make that top component. And these are the eye pins that came in the box. We have the bead cap facing up, natural stone, bead cap facing down, just like that. And now I want to try to make the bottom loop and the top loop facing the same direction. All right, I'm going to bend it back with my fingers. I'm going to go in there with my cutters. And I'm going to go in there with my round nose pliers. There we go. Now I'm going to get one of these larger jump rings, open it, connect the bottom component to the connector. Grab the other jump ring, put the connector on it, and then grab the top component. Close that jump ring. Now I'm going to grab my round nose pliers to open that ear wire and connect it to the top component. All right, so there is the 5th pair. On to the last one. All right, so here is my last pair, and I'll go ahead and tell you this pair comes from an inspiration from the necklace in a previous video, which at the end of this video, I'll show the two of them together, but I really enjoyed creating this pair. So here we go. We're gonna make this bottom component. Of course, we have the ball pin, and we're going to use bead cap facing up, and then we're going to use this Z bead. This is a beautiful bead, elongated barrel style bead, and then bead cap facing down. Then we'll have the round spacer, and then we're going to do the bead cap again with the natural stone. And then bead cap facing down, just like that. So there is the component. Bend it back with my fingers. Then I'm going to get in there with my cutters. Try to cover it, because if you don't cover it or grab it, those ends, they do fly. And you only need to be hit in the eye once to know that's not a good idea. Most of us would probably not need to be hit once to know that it's a bad idea, but yeah, I had that wonderful experience. So now I know. Then we're going to grab our round nose pliers Make it nice and snug. There you go. Nice and snug. There you go. All right, so now we will grab the jump ring. Attach the component and the connector. And close that jump ring. All right, for this ear wire, we do have to make a slight adjustment to it so that the earring hangs correctly, so that when you're holding it and you're wearing it on your ear, you want the design element to be face first and not hanging sideways. So you want it, I normally, most people want their earrings to be kind of hanging design out like this. So in order to do that, for this ear wire, I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, and I don't want them all facing the same direction. I'm going to change the loop to be facing up. So I'm gonna take it and I'm going to hold it in my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to turn it. Just like that. So now, when you look at it, it's going to be facing the other direction. So I'm going to take that jump ring, connect it to the connector. So now, when it is connected to that ear wire, it will hang the correct way. And now I will close that jump ring. All right, there is my last pair. So now I'm going to go put all of the pairs of earrings in my display so that we can see them better. All right, so here is that last pair of earrings that I made, and this is my necklace from a previous video, and as you can see, it goes together quite nicely with the connectors, the natural stone, and of course the larger Z beads on the necklace. I mean, it just ties it together really, really nice. All right, so now I'll get all of the earrings. All right, so here are the 6 pair of earrings that I made all together. And I am super excited with how they came out. In particular, I enjoy the pair at the end. I do like how it sets off the necklace, but also, you know, it could be worn on its own without the necklace, same as all of the other pair. All right, so I'm gonna zoom in one more time for each pair. I really like how they came out. I like the earth tones in this month's bead box. If you liked this video and you'd like to see other videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Give me a like, leave a comment. I really enjoy reading the comments that you guys leave. You are so, so kind. It's a highlight of my day, truly. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.